And now for something completely different. And different is good, usually, unless it is pickled and fermented fish from Iceland. I do not recommend it. As a species, we humans are a visual sort. Since the beginning of our time, we have been looking up and saying to our bestie, "Hey, look at that!" And as time has progressed, so has mankind's desire to see better, clearer, farther, determine details, and peer ever closer to whatever has caught our eye. Thus, the invention of visual aids, binoculars, glasses, microscopes, and telescopes. Man wants to look within and far, far out. Ah, the telescope. The history of its creation, constant improvement, and development is a fascinating journey with input from all angles and all over the world. All from our very human desire to see better, to be closer to whatever sparkly twinkle has us mesmerized. With the just slightly later and now concurrent development of photography, mankind's desire to record, share, and preserve what thrills the visual sense, astrophotography has progressed and developed to such a level that we can program a smart telescope to discover and photograph the skies to a depth that the more traditional scope cannot begin to compete with. We can walk away, have a s'more, come back later to jaw-dropping deep sky sights viewed on a laptop or a smartphone. Even live viewing is becoming beyond our imagination and actual physical sight due to technological assists. While traveling in Iceland, I took a picture, I took hundreds, with my phone. It gave me a gorgeous photo, but it was not what I had seen nor what I had even been focused on. My sister-in-law Isabel, the astrophysicist, laughed and said the phone has programming to interpret what I am trying to take a picture of, and basically fill in the blanks to improve the photo. They don't always get it right, but mostly they do. She writes AI code for phone cameras. So barely playing around with the edit feature on my phone, changing the pictures, here is one original photo. The next has most people removed. The last has all the people removed, and all with the touch of a thumb while traveling in a bouncing vehicle on rough roads. Imagine what I could do if I knew what I was doing. Notice the weird shadow on the right that appears in the second edit, but not in the third. Below is a picture from a C-Star video ad comparing views. But just like AI-generated art, or even DAW, a digital audio workstation that my 12-year-old grandson uses to create soundtracks for the Fun Fact, one must bear in mind just how much technology is doing for us. However, we still need to be participating in the experience to make it happen, and it is our experience. Technology isn't a bad thing, but neither is it the be-all and end-all. It is simply the progress of creative inventions from creative minds. Humans strive ever forward, ever upward. So where does that leave amateur astronomers new to the whole shebang that it's become an almost overwhelming, amazing world of choices, a bit like a candy store except pricier? There is a huge something to be said for catching a meteor or comet naked eye, an experience you will not forget and will also crave to see again. There is something magical about Pleiades and binoculars, enough to make me gasp a quiet ah every time I look. Every stargazer had to start somewhere, and likely it was simply going outside and looking at the moon. Sometimes all the equipment in the world can't match a glimpse of something, like the moon reflected in a puddle. Or like this past week when the 8.6% moon cleaved a blood-orange sword tip into the dark sky as it rose. My phone interpreted it differently. In fact, it barely saw it at all. But I stayed mesmerized until it was fully above the horizon. The wows and awe-inspiring captures from smart telescopes will also never lessen. They will never cease to wow. But it takes a human eye to appreciate what the program codes and algorithms have put together. I gave both my granddaughter and grandson a basic hands-on telescope to start with, and I will be happy to provide them someday, if they wish, with a go-to smart dwarf. I want them both to learn to drive a standard car and use their mirrors before they graduate to an AI-assisted vehicle that tells them what to do. I want them to know what to do first. It is far easier to play do-re-mi from The Sound of Music if you've already learned a scale or two. You can still learn to play it without the basics, but the struggle will be real. There are basic learning tenements that come with learning the constellations, looking through binoculars, and then using a finder scope on a basic telescope. All the rest are bonuses. We can do both. If one is lucky, you can do it all. And here is a picture of something that AI might not have thought to capture. Photographer Gunarto Song was taking pictures of Mount Merapi, a very active volcano in Indonesia, when something amazing happened. He witnessed meteors streaking across the sky, and with his camera trained on the volcano, he captured in long exposure a beautifully lit meteor flying directly toward the mouth of Mount Merapi. Human eyes and technology for the wow and the win.